So in the appeal process, I won the first appeal because of a tape recording. In the state of Washington, it's illegal to tape somebody without informing them or getting their consent. And that was not a unanimous decision on the appellate level in Spokane, so the prosecutor appealed because he wanted that leverage in court. So he took it to Washington State Supreme Court. And I went to New York and told Floyd, I want to meet Bill Kunstler. I was at the AIM trials and I like him. He said, well, I know him. And this woman at the radio station said, I know Bill. So they arranged for us to talk, and Bill got my legal documents and called me and he said, Yvonne, I read them, but there's something in there. He said, I'll take your case, but I want to run it by the women in the Center for Constitutional Rights, and because I think there's some women's issues in there. And so he did that, and he called me back and he said, they want to take the case. And you know, I'm so naive going through all this legal stuff, I didn't know. But as it turned out, I won on the Supreme Court level. On January 7th, 1977, there's a law now called the Wanrow Instruction. That was my married name at the time. You look it up on the internet, Yvonne Wanrow, and you'll see that Wanrow Instruction. And what happened was the women at the Center for Constitutional Rights brought up another issue besides the tape issue, the issue of a jury instruction. Before I went to trial, the lawyers put together some instructions on the law of self-defense, but in that group of words, it made it sound as though there was a man on trial. You know, the pronouns, he, him, this, you know, and so my lawyers were sharp enough to point that out, you know, that there's a difference between the way a man perceives danger and a woman, how she perceives imminent danger, and how we're brought up differently. Plus, at the time of the shooting, I had a cast on my leg. So we won on that level, and there was a landmark decision that one of the 9 Supreme Court justices wrote, and saying that this country has a long, unfortunate history of sex discrimination against women. And I guess I didn't know at the time. I remember driving down Highway 395 when the news came over the radio, and I let out a war whoop because I won. But I didn't realize that that meant a lot in this country. There were phones were ringing off the hook across the country. Women that were on trial and lawyers and all the people that were in court, they were calling their lawyers, hey, 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 there's a new case, there's a new case. And so it freed a lot of women, and at least it gave women an equal chance in court. And so all that time, that pain and suffering and fear and everything that went into those 12 years was worth it for that reason. I ended up going to court the last time in April 1979, and that ended up a mitigation hearing. My lawyers didn't, I don't know, the prosecutor offered a deal. He said he'd drop the weapons charge, which carried an automatic 5-year sentence, and he wouldn't recommend prison if I would plead to lesser charges of first degree, or of manslaughter and first and second degree assault. And I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to. And finally they sent for Floyd and they told him to bring me to New York. And so we went and talked to the lawyers, and after they explained it all to him, he told me, you know what, he said, this is a good deal. He said, you won't go to prison. He said, they won't get you. They'll have their conviction, but they won't get you. So that's a victory. He said, this has been going on a long time. And so I agreed, and at the mitigation hearing, the judge, he was really wonderful in his statement. He said, I know I'm going to probably make a lot of people, and maybe even in this building, unhappy, but I think this woman has done enough, has suffered enough, and I don't think I'll see her here in the court again. So that's how it ended up. So based on that, I became a legal advocate. I went back to my tribe and I just know I can get in there and defend somebody. Well, that's what happened. You got to be careful what you wish for. I got into court and I realized, oh my, I didn't have enough training. I'm lucky I won a couple criminal cases. I was like a lawyer in tribal court, and I won some civil cases. But then all of a sudden, Canada comes to mind, and then I get a call to go up there and help fight Canada over my land. And I'll end it here because that is another long story. Canada hates me anyway because I can make news out of anything. But we secured 20 acres that they stole from us. We have 14 million acres up there and we're counting it, still counting it. Priority is to rebury our ancestors that were murdered back in the 1800s. We're finding all this. We reburied about 75 of them, so once we get that, there's going to be enough land for everybody. So, lim lim, thank you very much. Oh.